Scott, how you been holding out? Holding up.
Better than my computer battery. I mean,
You missed it. I thought you were gonna say it. You didn't
oh no,
respond.
with a cane. Yeah,
There
yeah,
you
yeah,
go.
yeah, with a
Ah,
cane. Yeah,
yeah.
sorry.
That's okay.
I'm too busy dealing with my technical
Yeah,
situation right
yeah. We
now.
just talked about Scott had a little bit of technical issue from last week to this week.
It's called being a dumbass and not, plugging his computer in. Um,
Yeah,
Once again, full disclosure for those of you who haven't experienced this on the vodka stream when this has happened,
yeah.
Dave and I talk after the show, and it goes on for maybe like 30 minutes sometimes.
Good. Yeah.
But when it's over with, my legs are cramped for sitting here for about an hour and a half. I have to go to bed to get to work the next morning. But for me to use the really nice webcam that makes me look prettier, um, I have to unplug my computer to free up the USB port to plug the computer in. But if I don't remember to unplug the camera and plug the computer back in, my battery doesn't get charged.
Yep.
So my computer has been sitting here apparently since last week, not working. Tells you how often I get on my computer. So yeah, I came down here and I was like, why won't my computer turn on? And I looked and went,
There it is. It's always
there it
that one.
is.
Where you just
So
like,
at least I can use, so I have to use the built-in webcam, which I'm sorry, I'm trying to understand how they can put amazing cameras in iPhones and
eh.
can put a decent webcam in a MacBook. I really don't understand.
I mean, they can, but you got to pay for it. That's the thing. They want you to upgrade. They want you to get the best one, and that's the thing. Yeah, I remember when I had a MacBook. Yeah, that camera sucks.
Yeah,
It's
at
like,
720 at best.
yeah,
And
720 at best, and it just yeah. I mean, especially when you're so used to using like a certain camera, and then yeah, that whole like that OCD side of you starts like going,
oh
oh
god, no.
man.
Now the
Yeah,
best part is though, I actually get to look at you during the show.
it's true because usually you're looking at the camera.
Right, which means I can't look at this. I
Yeah.
can't actually look at my screen while we're doing this.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Welcome everybody to DC Fan-imated. Oh, we're still talking Batman Beyond. Cheers, everybody. Scott's got a cold snap. Samuel
Spoiler
Adams.
alert.
Nice. Dude, it's cold over here, man. Like it finally winter. I mean, it's been like, it's had its chilly moments, especially at night in Southern California, but we got this winter storm that just rolled in yesterday. It didn't even reach 50 degrees
Oh
today.
no, that was like us for like 2 weeks where like our lows were in like 17 and our
Ooh,
highs would be 30s. Of course, then it hit 80 this past week. Like
yeah.
welcome to Alabama.
Oh yeah, the weather is always wonky, but yeah, we're getting that coldness for the next like all the way till Friday. But yeah, it's cold, it's wet, it's like
Oh,
one of
it's
those.
been raining all day today,
Yeah,
and it's just ugh.
yeah. But anyways, well, we're here to talk about some more Batman, and we got some. We're continuing, of course, Batman Beyond, which has been exciting. There's just been I don't know, it's just been fun, of course. We're revisiting these episodes, and we got a whole new villain that shows up in this one. We're starting to now that we have part 1 and part 2 of the rebirth and just kind of the introduction. Now we're getting into the thick of it, or
Yeah.
we're getting into the ink of it. Oh,
No, no, no.
no, it didn't work. Yeah,
Well, this is what I've been kind of hinting about in for the past couple of weeks is Ink is clearly a beyond version of who.
yeah.
That
It's
question.
it is a beyond version. I mean, initially you just think about you think about Clayface.
Right, it's a
Yeah,
beyond version of Clayface. Like
yeah,
they take the power set that you would associate with Clayface,
yeah.
and then they beyond it. And
Yes.
so, and we'll see this, and every time this happens, there will be a quiz later. You know,
Yeah, take notes, kids.
take notes, kids.
Mhm.
But Ink is one of those beyond villains that I mean they I don't know. I like the Beyond villains. They
They're
really created some really great recurring bad guys for Terry and Batman Beyond. So in Inks, something else I was noticing, and I didn't mention this with part 1 and part 2,
hmm,
but you remember with Batman and Superman, I always did A team, B team talking about the animation. And one thing that I remember in the back of my brain, and I'm looking forward to kind of watch as we rewatch it, is I feel like there really wasn't an A team, B team dealing with Batman Beyond. I felt like the animation remained fairly like
Yeah.
consistent throughout the show, where you don't, besides what we talked about a couple weeks ago, where there will be a transition in the series when they go to digital, uh, not digital animation, but digital inking, digital coloring, and they get away from hand cell animation. Uh,
Mhm.
except for that difference, I feel like the animation stays pretty consistent. So the way they animate it, I mean, man, think about this. You had to hand draw all that, you know,
Yeah, all
you
the
know,
ink.
all the inkiness, and they draw her like busy, like she doesn't stay in one shape or form.
No,
Or
it's not like how Clayface is just like he looks like a big huge rock, and then all of a sudden he's like shooting things. She's just flat out just. She's like, I mean, it's
she's
all in the name.
constantly like in
Yeah,
motion,
yeah.
and you have to think back in the day, someone by hand had to do all of this.
Tedious. It's got to be tedious. Yeah, no, it's an interesting character, and I love the fact that diving into the opening of this. I mean, we get our first look at Fox Tekka.
Yeah, and I'm glad they actually said Fox Tekka later on, because I was wondering if it was supposed to just be Fox Tech and they just drew the H weird. And then
Mm,
when Bruce actually calls it Fox Tekka in the next scene, I was like, "Oh yeah, it is an A." Okay,
yeah,
just
yeah.
I forgot. I was curious about that part.
Yeah. All right. It's just, but at first, I mean, at first I was like, huh, that's an interesting name. And I went, yeah, that's right. Duh. I was
We
like, I don't know why. I was like, at first I was like, Fosteca. Okay. Oh, yeah. Duh.
Is that
Yeah.
the one of the situations where I just need to be sitting next to you and just like
Yeah.
whack you
Like I
inside the
said,
back of the
I'm a little
head?
sleep deprived. And I was like, no, of course. Geez, what the hell? It happens. But, so we get our little introduction because obviously, we're at Fox Teca. And then naturally Inc just starts, kind of doing her thing where she's just basically sabotaging.
Yeah, she's just tearing shit up.
Yeah, she's not trying to steal anything, not trying to do anything. It's just basically like, oh yeah, let me get inside all this and cause a little electrical fire. And because she can. I mean, that's I would say, like, obviously we're comparing her to Clayface, but at the same time, again, it's just she's mainly in that crazy form where she just seeps into everything that she can. And yeah,
Kinda like a T-1000,
kind of a T1, yeah, or a symbiote type of, something.
Yeah, very much, her
Yeah.
ness. That sound effect is never gonna leave us ever since.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah, because we always talked about how gross Clayface.
Gross that sound effect was. But
Yeah,
you're right in that,
yeah,
because of her black, her design can mimic, the Spider-Man symbiote
yeah,
suit, and but once again, her behavior is Clayface-esque, but yes, she's so much more liquid
yeah,
than Clayface ever was. I mean, I mean, Hagen was clay.
yeah.
He had a solidness to it. She is just like squishy and
Hmm.
gooey, and I like your point about the symbiote. I actually, that didn't even occur to me, but I think that's a really good comparison there.
Yeah, yeah. And then of course she's effing things up, and then things happen, and then of course we get Bruce heading up to talk to his good old buddy Powers because Bruce knows that something's going on with you, motherfucker. This is a good exchange. Like I said, the opening, like when I said, like, how you holding up? And then I just love how Bruce, like, with a cane. It's a good response.
It's a great response because it's Bruce being sassy
Yep.
and salty, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm old."
Yeah. Of course I am. And then of course Powers does his whole thing, like, yeah, Bruce, and hey, we can give you an office right here, and blah blah blah. And then it's funny too because Bruce turns around and he sees this sculpture
Looks a
which
little familiar.
looks a little interesting, and he's about to touch it, and Powers like, don't touch it. Don't touch that, please. And I'm like, and then you immediately go, oh. Yeah, she's like right there, just still, because it looks like her without
It
the
does look like her, yeah.
yeah, without the little eyeball sticking out that she has. But but it's just funny how like Powers is just like, yeah, what are we doing? And then Bruce is just not having it. He's like, yeah, stay away from Fox Tekka.
Yeah,
And then of course
I
Bruce starts
like how they
talking about
introduce, because this is also, this predates the comics,
it.
introducing Luke Fox as the son of Lucius Fox, of course, who would go on to become the second Batwing. Really interesting, because for those of you who may not know, in the comics, there was a character named Batwing that was created by Grant Morrison, who was the Batman of Africa
Yeah.
for like Batman Incorporated. And then when Jimmy Palmiotti was working on the Batwing title during the New 52, he did a transition and then retired the Batman of Africa character, and then we got Luke Fox, the son of Lucius, who became the Batwing character. And then, of course, that variation also carried over into the Batwoman show on
Yep.
the CW, and then Batman Bad Blood, one of the New 52 inspired animated movies they did. So, but this is before that. So then we get the idea of Lucius Jr., who I like it was of course, Lucius Jr. was the vice president when I took over the company. And Bruce like, and then you fired him.
Yes. It's like, oh man, he's not buying into Powers bullshit at
Well,
all. Yeah, he
he
knows.
goes there because he knows Powers has something to do with all these mishaps at Fox Tekka. I
Yeah.
mean, Bruce is Bruce is still Batman. I mean, he's no idiot. He knows this is It's funny though, is that he doesn't even know why Powers would be screwing around specifically with Fox Tekka,
Mhm.
but he just knows that for all these problems Fox Tekka is having, it has to be Powers somehow.
Yep, he's still got that bat sense going on. And then of course when they leave and Terry's waiting for him, down in like a little waiting area. And even Terry's just like, fuck this guy. Obviously, he has an attitude too. Is, oh yeah, I work from. And then what Power says too is like, oh yeah, I heard about now that your father's passed, you are now the breadwinner. I was like, oh, you're such a dick.
Son of a bitch.
Such a fucking dick. Like, what do you say that to somebody who just lost a kid who lost his father? Oh yeah, you're the breadwinner now because you're a father.
Well, and let's also not forget that we all know that you're the one who ordered the death of
Yeah.
his father.
And
So.
Jesus Christ. Oh man, you feel for Terry right there. And then of course, and then we start. This is where we, obviously, like I said, we got the introduction to this whole thing, and now we're already going to get like that dynamic of like, hey Terry, you are now Batman. You now have responsibilities. You now work for Bruce Wayne, so your social life is going to suffer.
What social life?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I thought it was funny that he's going to a school sporting event with Dana that basically is like 0G lacrosse.
Yeah, shit you not. This was the thing that I remembered most about
Really?
this episode. I don't know why. It was
Really?
like when that scene plays out, because they're like flying, like it's like lacrosse mixed with football. It's all crazy, and I was like,
Or
holy shit! Why? All of a sudden I was like, deja vu. I was like, I remember this the most. I mean, I remember certain other parts about this, but for some reason that just like my brain was like. Because I think I remember like when I first watched it, I was like, that's kind of cool. I don't know why. I don't know. My brain was like, oh yeah.
Well, it's what's a cool part though. It's like, why I love science fiction, why I
Yeah.
love, things that the what ifs and the stories is okay, do something new, do something different. And I like this. It's like, okay, we're 50 years in the future. What would a high school sport look like 50 years in the future?
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, 0G lacrosse. Let's go with it.
Yeah. Why not? And then of course there's some douche that winks at her, of course.
I am positive that it's the the guy who's Seth Green.
Yeah, the bully dude.
The bully guy, yeah. I would
Probably him.
almost think it was him because Chelsea's not around, so yeah.
Yeah, probably was him. But and then of course, Terry gets the phone call from Bruce, and it's like, all right, time to do his thing. And then, yeah,
I love how we still have flip phones 50 years in the future.
exactly. They weren't sure exactly what the phones were going to be like. But hey, they can't get everything right. Remember, they still have little compact discs.
We do have DVD ROM, we do have CD-ROMs,
Exactly. So
50
they're
years in
still
the
bad. I
future.
mean, they're small, but still, it's like, whoa. I still remember, what's kind of funny is like I remember tangent right here, but when I was in high school, I took earth science, and Mr. Monaco, little dude, God, he was boring as fuck. Oh man, I don't even know how this guy was. He just would lecture. And I remember one time he started talking about like he thought the future was going to be like we're going to have all these like crystals, like everything was going to be like there was going to be so much information stored on crystals. And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. Like, and my brain was like, oh yeah, you just have like a little crystal full of shit, and you just put it on top of like some kind of sensor, and it just reads it and blah blah blah.
Clearly, he watched way too much Superman 78 as a child.
That's what I was. Yes, I was thinking of like stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, and but then it was like now that we know how everything is now, I'm like, man, he got it wrong. But
You know,
hey,
hey, fair. I mean, even
through
Lex
earth
Luthor,
science, he
yeah,
wanted
he
crystals,
wanted crystals.
to be what we were going to store data on, and maybe he was hearing something, reading something, and maybe that was going to be something at some point. I mean, but then again, like I said, I didn't put it together when I was in school that yeah, maybe maybe just was a Superman fan. I mean, like could have been something like that, maybe. I don't know. Hilarious. But yeah, but anyways, there's a tangent right there. Just reminding me of
It's
that. Just
fair.
a story. Yeah,
And we made
storing
it
data.
DC related, and we're all good.
Exactly. It all, yeah. So of course, we get of course Terry has to leave, and then of course we get Ink. She's like back at Foxteca doing her thing, slipping through all the computer systems and everything like that, and just kind of just destroying the things as she does. And then of course, what do we get, Scott?
Oh man, I was in such a rush. I meant to bring my McFarlane.
You have it. You
I
have it. You
have it. I have
want
the
to go get it? You
McFarlane.
can go get it if you want
I
to.
could, but
Fine.
I'm already dealing with the camera issue.
It's fine.
But yeah,
Yeah, but Scott does have the McFarlane Batman Beyond Batmobile.
I mean it is legit in my top 3 of Batmobiles.
It's a great Batmobile.
It's a great, it's a cool design. It is a hover car.
Yes, it's got to
It's
be.
and there's always something interesting. So you get that cool red highlight when he's in the cockpit. I love it when the suit. I love how the suit interacts with the
Mhm.
Batmobiles because he grabs the handles and you do that thing where like the circuitry suddenly like appears because
Yeah,
Bruce even tells him small gestures, small motions, let the suit do the work. Because once again, the idea is that the suit is synaptically interfacing. So there's a lot of things that the suit is going to do automatically because it can sense like, it's basically he thinks about something, he moves his muscles, and the suit knows what, you know, he wants.
yeah, where it goes, and it's funny too because I mean, I don't know how many times like when people talk about Batman Beyond, there's just like that. It's just I've seen that GIF where it's just like a loop of just him just like sitting there, and it's got all the red, and
Yeah.
you got all the background going. It just looks so goddamn cool.
And it almost is very reminiscent, and I'm sure someone thought about this. There's that famous panel from The Dark Knight Returns, the first time you see Batman inside the War Machine,
Mhm.
when he's like this.
Yep.
And think about every pose you ever see of Terry in the Batmobile. It's him, both hands out, holding those two. It's basically like the yokes, because it's a car. It's a bat. The cool thing about the Batman Beyond Batmobile is basically they make one vehicle instead of him having like it's the Batwing and the Batmobile, you know,
Combined.
combined.
Yeah. No, it's so cool, and then almost just like, oh yeah, there's that shot that you see like all the time, and it's just like, yeah, it's pretty sweet. So I mean, they did a good job. Again, I mean, we've talked about like designs when it comes to the Batmobile. I mean, nothing beats the animated series design, of course, but of course you're gonna have to have, like you said, you have to have it floating, and then of course they're like, oh yeah, we got to just kind of combine the two, and we don't get that. Ooh,
We don't get it, but we do get a
yeah.
like it
Yeah.
has its own sound, but it's also a sound that's like if you were a kid and you had like you could mimic the sound that that thing like makes because
Yeah.
it's completely a hover car. And it was weird for me to realize like because I couldn't remember which episode we get introduced to the Batmobile, but it's kind of funny to go, okay, we're on episode 3.
They didn't waste any time.
They didn't waste any time. We have a new Batmobile.
And then of course he's going over to Fox Tekka, and and then of course they're doing that whole thing where Terry's just they're really emphasizing the fact that it's like, oh yeah, am I gonna, have a social life? And then like Bruce is just like, you want with this job? Are you kidding me? I mean, and with the 3 years of obviously, talking about Batman the animated series, but of course just talking about Batman in general, it's like, yeah, no matter what, it's like you're gonna take the mantle of the bat. Yeah, your nights are just you're fucked. You're done. You're not. Yeah.
And that's the cool part with Batman Beyond being a teenage Batman. It's
Yeah.
like your ultimate social life years for some people, and but it's also the kid who has a job.
Yep.
It's a cool little metaphor here of no, sometimes the job calls,
Yeah.
and he is earning money to support his mom and his brother. So I think that's awesome. I also love the fact that one thing we skipped over that gets revealed is that after Bruce left Power's office, he had a handkerchief with him that he was like patting
Oh
his
yeah.
head. But what turns out what he did on the slide, because he's fucking Batman, is that he knew something was up with that sculpture, and he did use his handkerchief to kind of touch it and rub it. So he's got a sample of ink
Mhm.
in that handkerchief. And so during this conversation, he's on a microscope and he's analyzing the material and of course, kind of like Clayface in some situations where like the even though it's not connected to the main body, the material still kind of has a life of its own.
Yeah. It's kind of
And
like how the symbiote is in a little bit. Yeah. Uh,
yes, very
yeah.
much so. Yeah.
Yeah. So like even though it's like detached from, but it could still just have a life of its own. Yeah. But yeah, he already suspected that. So yeah, he did that. And then of course when Terry is going into Fox Tech, I mean, obviously we start seeing like, oh, she's creeping up on him, and of course he's doing his whole investigating thing. And then while he is looking at it in the microscope, and of course, yeah, I love the fact that he's looking at it and he's got the big screen behind him that's kind of showing like all the different like how it looks.
Mhm.
Cool shot, cool animation, the way that they're doing that, because obviously he's very much doing it the old school way, but there's a big screen behind him that's showing everything and showing that it's reacting, I guess you could say. And then of course um yeah, and then of course Terry gets attacked, and then he gets his first interaction when it comes to ink.
And gets his ass kicked
Yeah,
too.
he gets his ass kicked.
Well, and the cool thing about this is that once again, it also shows that the suit is protecting him because
Yeah.
there's no freaking way he could survive the punishment that he is taking. He gets thrown into computer monitors. He gets thrown into servers. I mean, you got to believe because once again, you got to think the suit was built when Bruce was getting old.
Yeah.
So not only does it enhance his strength, it's also got to be in a very lithe way, like a suit of armor.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, yeah, he gets his, but then Terry starts realizing, like, because they get out to the that's where they get out to the docks, right?
No, no,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
that's another
later on.
that's a later
Yeah,
altercation. That's
yeah,
his
you're right.
second
You're right.
encounter.
That's right. Yeah, he gets his ass handed to him, and then of course when we get back to the Batcave, I love the fact that we get some more little Easter eggs, specifically one Easter egg that we get. We see the gray ghost costume.
I love that. I love the. Did you notice Scarface?
Yeah, he's all shot up.
I was like, dude, whoa,
Oh
that's
yeah, we remember that episode.
yeah, we do, yeah.
Yeah,
Scarface is all shut up. Harley Quinn's outfit is there.
yeah.
You do, and I love it.
Riddler.
It's Chekhov's gun, but as it's walking by, and it's on the forefront of the shot,
Yeah.
but you see Mr. Freeze's freeze gun, and
Yeah, they totally make it like, oh yeah, that's gonna come into play later for sure. So
the same way with the Gray Ghost costume.
yep.
It's
They wanted to emphasize like, oh yeah, there's gonna be some these Easter eggs. Yeah, you're gonna see some shit, but there's gonna be some shit that's gonna be used. And yeah, so it was just cool. I was like, oh yeah, the Great Ghost costume, there it is. It's so because obviously, one of the best episodes of Batman.
one of the
the
best
Animated
episodes.
Series, obviously. So
I wish Callum hadn't interrupted us during that
yeah,
episode
I know.
so
Yeah, that's
much.
right. That was that episode. Oh yeah, man.
Oh, because we had to do it like in a Saturday afternoon and like not when everyone's
Yep.
asleep. And God, he bugged the absolute stew out of us during that episode.
It happens. It happens. It happens.
Oh,
And,
but the interesting thing is that when Terry comes back and he's like, "You could have given me a heads up."
yeah, like what the hell? And he's all, you got to start letting me know about like all this shit because, yeah, I mean, the Terry's just like he's now in this world. I mean, third episode in, and he's already like, oh shit, I'm not gonna have a social life. Oh shit, I'm fighting. What the hell is happening here? And then of course Bruce is like, oh yeah, this is this is where you start breaking it down. It's like where he's realizing who this person is, and
Which is interesting. I thought it so clearly for him to have messed with the sculpture, air
Mhm.
quotes, in Power's office. Bruce had some inkling. of,
There it is.
there we go.
Boom, boom.
Had some inkling about
Yeah,
who the saboteur
yeah.
probably was, because he knows that, while not having any knowledge, he knows that ink is being tracked by Interpol. He
Mhm.
knows that ink is the result of a mutagenic experiment and has these shape shifting abilities, but clearly didn't know what ink, you know, looks like because
Yeah.
no one had ever seen her.
Exactly. But yeah, so basically he's like, all right, so this is the lowdown with all this stuff. And then yeah, and then we get some more flying of the Batman Beyond Batmobile, and then this is where we get to like the actual like the dock, the actual
Yes,
dock portion
yes.
of Fox Tech. So now we're around water, and then of course it's a cool shot where like Terry thinks he's like, all right, I got this. I'm just gonna like open up like the bottom hatch of like the Batmobile and
Oh,
just
I love that's
kind of land.
that's
It's
such a
so
cool
cool.
way of like that's
So
how you
yeah,
get in and out of the car.
yeah. And it's like, okay, but he tries, and it for the most part doesn't really work. But hey, he tries. But yeah, this is where he realizes because obviously you're on a dock, and then she's just like, oh, water, and it's like, oh yeah,
But
that
that's
makes
also
sense.
growth for Terry because Bruce is telling him you got to think on your feet.
Yeah,
And then even Ink gives him crap because she's like kind of slow on the pickup because he
yeah,
keeps on trying these things that it's like she's a
not working.
shapeshifter. This is not going to work on a shapeshifter.
Yeah, like there's like one part where he like I mean, I forgot exactly where it was, but he like pulls up a manhole cover to block, which is good, but at the same time, there's holes in the manhole cover and she could just squeeze right through it. It's like, yeah, it's good for a little bit, but then she just squeezes right through it. It's like, hello. It's like so
But when he gets her onto that portion of the dock
yeah.
and he observes her reaction because there's water to the right of her, there's water to the left of her, and he's just like, "Oh, you don't like water." And I love it how he takes his leg and just like splashes up
Splash,
some, and she
splash,
does
yeah.
everything she can to like get out of the way.
Dodge it, yeah.
And it's great because Terry, once again, we're episode 3. Terry's inheriting the mantle of Batman, and so he's got to start bringing in some of that deductive reasoning and detective skills. And he clocks it and he goes, "You don't." It's like a weakness. You
Yes.
don't like this.
Found a weakness. but he still gets his ass kicked again.
Of course.
Yeah.
But notice when he does it though, how does he kind of escapes by
Yeah.
going into the water, one
Exactly.
place where she clearly is not going to follow him.
Like he's still he's still gonna get, she's still gonna clobber him, but at the same time, it's not like he's gonna, he still got away, and he used, obviously utilized the fact that the water was there and stuff like that. So no, that was good. And then of course, then we cut to Powers in his little limo, and then of course she just kind of shows up in there, and then she's just like, yeah, I dealt with this one dude, and then of course, like, and I love again, it was like, oh, this costume dude, and then Powers is just like Batman, and she's like the Batman, and of course, it's just like one of those things where it's like, wait, what? That was Batman, kind of thing.
Well,
I
because
love
once
that.
again, he hasn't been around for 20 years.
Exactly. So it's just kind of funny, like when people just react like, oh, wait, that was Batman. Oh shit.
But notice Ink is also good to going, but he had help because
Yes,
she heard him
talking. Yeah.
talking, to Bruce. But I also love this because let's not forget what happened to Powers at the end of Rebirth Part 2,
Yep.
which if you watch this on YouTube, the clip is missing.
The clip is missing, sadly. We watched a little too much of it, and YouTube was like, we're blocking it. And I was like, shit. So I had to like totally clip. But yeah, we see the ending where, of course, he looks, well, essentially like Dr.
Phosphorus, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he looks like
because
Phosphorus. And so, but he's able to obviously look normal, but then when he gets angry, apparently that skin starts cracking. That little shell that he has, that his skin starts breaking up, and then she's just like, are you all right?
but I also love how Powers plays off. It's like, I have a condition.
Yes, I have a condition. And then he basically says, you might want to leave because you probably don't want to be around
It's not
me.
good for your health.
Yeah, it's not good for your health. It's not healthy to be around me when I'm shedding. That's what he
Shedding.
says.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yeah, because clearly the skin not only disguises him, it also is clearly a radiation shield because the
yes.
dude is just like,
Yeah, he's got to keep it all in right there, which is
yeah.
like, yeah. And so then so she of course goes away, and then of course he the Powers and blah blah blah, and he's got to put, and then of course like where she's at, and then of course they're communicating. And it's kind of funny too because they end up turning into like a version of what Tara and Bruce have, because when I like how, like, when you see her again, she's got like a little headset. It's like, what the fuck? It was just kind of funny, like the fact that she's just like this blob thing, but she's got like a little like headset going down
With the microphone, with
with a little microphone. Yeah, it was pretty funny. And then of course, she and then of course Powers, we see his little whole method of like, okay, well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and get my skin back on. So it's like a whole process with all the dudes, and of course the radiation suits, and then of course he's sitting there, and you see that thing just go right on top of him, and you see that the steam that goes that hit. I always like that.
He's getting his new suit pressed.
Yeah, you know what that reminded me of? Again, I'm just like, this stuff reminding me of things. I don't know if you guys remember, if you, not you guys, well, maybe you guys, yeah. It's like, I don't remember, like when Terminator 2 came out and they had like Terminator.
I know, I had it. I know exactly.
You had that? My
I
friend
had
that. Where you had the skin over the fucking T-800?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's what that kind of reminded me of. Obviously, it also is reminiscent of too, of course, of the Hardak, episodes when it came.
Well, it's also reminiscent of Mudslide, because the suit that the doctor would put Hagen in to help, contain, to keep him solid. Yeah.
Yeah. So of course, Terry returns to the Batcave, and yeah, so does she. And I think this is where we can start.
That is such an awesome. I love Bruce. That's such badass Bruce going. Like, he knows exactly how much the Batmobile weighs.
Yeah, because Terry is like, hey, this is acting a little sluggish, So, and then he, of course, gets a little reading from the Batmobile, like, oh yeah, there's something.
It's like, it's too heavy. Like, it shouldn't be this heavy.
Yep. And then let's go ahead and start diving in right there. Too heavy.
Look out!
Ouch.
Oh, the soundtrack for these episodes. Oh,
Yeah, soundtrack is just so good. This looks okay. Man, what happens to Terry, man?
oh, dude, when she like
Oh,
goes inside him.
oh! I almost used that. I almost used this as the thumbnail, but I was like, I don't know about that.
No.
It looks a little wrong. And then we get, I love it. Grey
Batman with a
Ghost
fire
Bruce.
hose.
Yes, because you
And
got
he's
to
got his
protect his
Grey Ghost.
identity. I love that. And then they show like that he took it. Oh, it's so
Oh,
cool.
I love it because when he walks past the case, the hat and the goggles are missing.
Yes. Oh.
Sorry, I have a gag reflex. This
Yeah.
does not work well for me.
That had to be like just
Sudden case of shyness.
And then of course it's like, oh, that's very T-1000.
I think it's also cool is all the different shapes they like make her arms and hands into.
Yep.
This isn't good.
No, it's not good.
No.
And she's gonna start destroying the Batcave. What? All that memorabilia. Look at there's the shot up Clayface, Scarface.
She's heading upstairs.
See, and then of course Bruce has that tear in his suit, that traditional animated series tear on the sleeve.
Oh, absolutely.
Someone's got a secret.
She's getting through.
Yep. Oh, he's got it. Don't worry.
I love Terry's reaction. You are prepared.
Man, you are prepared.
Batman in prep time.
She won't get through that way either. There's a layer of solid steel.
Yeah, but she's just trying to. Right,
Yeah, but you still bring
I think she has something
still
else.
bring the ceiling down. Oh,
There's
look
the
at it.
gun.
Once again,
Huh?
we get a lot of shots of that freeze gun.
Yeah. See, Bruce gets his fucking. Bruce is feeling sore. He's gonna be sore. For
I
like
mean,
months after
that's the one thing I did think about when I was like, if I'm being critical, is like, we determined that Bruce is like in his 80s at this
this.
point.
I know, but hey, he's tough. You know, Terry's doing his best job to protect him, but he's still getting his ass handed to him a little bit.
Yep, another tear right there.
Yeah. Yes. Lawrence in the chat. He is dressed. He's got the gray ghost goggles and hat on. Shocking. Hey, there's your batarang right there.
I know, right?
Yep. The blue one, the electric one. And then she just starts destroying the costumes. And then who we got? There's Mad Hatter right there.
Yeah.
Of course, then we got
Firefly and Penguin.
So you just got them all displayed.
How
That
does
was
it go with
painful.
Bruce? You really grabbed everybody's clothes.
I know. I'm like, Jesus Christ, where'd you get all that?
I love the
And
fact
then-
that
Ooh,
he
there we
doesn't
go.
even know what it is. He just knows it's a gun.
Yep.
That's it. You're showing me everything.
Exactly. And Bruce is like,
Because he's
yep.
gotta be looking at this thing going, what the hell is this?
Yep.
What
And
did
then
I
we-
just use?
What did I just use? But we got to show this a little bit.
Okay,
Hopefully,
as long as we don't get blocked by YouTube again.
I know. I'm hopefully not. But naturally, we're like, okay,
Gordon,
there she is. Finally.
I figured I'd
Barbara.
hear from you. Word is you've wrangled a new errand boy.
I never wrangled anyone. Every one of you came to me.
It's true.
Maybe once you should talk someone out of it.
There's, of course,
Yeah.
Gordon.
Worked with you. I don't suppose you want to meet him.
You know I can't.
Because he's leaving you a get acquainted gift right now.
Always outside the window.
Yep.
I keep it on ice.
Keep it on ice.
And I love Barbara's reaction. She's just like, oh no, another one. You
Yep.
know.
Here we
By the
go.
way, do you recognize or do you remember who the voice of
I
Barbara
don't
is?
remember who the voice is. Tell me.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up. We
Okay.
actually get two different voices over the course of the series.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay. So our first one, though, that we hear in this episode, it's Stockard Channing.
Oh, shit. Now I can hear that now. Stalker
You know.
Channing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Two big things. You know, most people will probably know either Rizzo from Grease, the movie version,
where she was
or
like 40.
Yeah,
I'm sure
exactly. Like everyone in that movie.
yeah, everybody
Or
was like in their mid-20s or 30s. Anyways, yeah.
yeah,
Or
or the first lady in The West Wing.
yeah, she was very a prominent character in the West Wing. I remember that too. But yeah, but she's been in so many different,
Oh, I mean,
things,
she's been so many
so many
things.
things. Yeah, so
Oh,
many
she's
things.
just
So
she's good. I mean, that's
yeah,
the
she's
thing.
just one of those that when you type her in and you see what she looks like, you go, oh yeah, I've seen her in something. And then you
Actually, you
just
know what she most recently did?
Mm.
She was in the Knuckles TV show on
Oh
Paramount
no
Plus.
shit. Oh
Yeah,
wow. I still haven't watched that.
it's cute. It's not. It's not.
Knuckles is great. My dad is funny because like when me and my dad saw the third one, he's all, I like Knuckles. Knuckles is the best. I should tell him like, hey dad, if you have Paramount Plus, there's a Knuckles series because he's just like I don't know. He was a fan of Knuckles out of all the characters.
Oh, I get that. It's Idris Elba in that movie, but yeah, remember the really silly deputy character from the first two movies?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
in there, right?
yeah. Well, he's kind of like the main character with
Yeah.
Knuckles, and Stalker Channing plays his mom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to watch it. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, there it is, guys. There is Inque. There is Terry's got his first villain that is on ice. And we got our introduction to the Batmobile, and we got our introduction to Commissioner Barbara Gordon, which is awesome. So just another fantastic episode of Batman Beyond.
I know, right?
Yeah. And what's the title of the episode next week?
Well, actually, we're going back to Metropolis.
Oh, we're going back to Metropolis. No, I love the future Gotham. Oh, that's okay.
I know we got to rewind 50 years.
Yep,
and,
go
and
back
go
in
to
the past.
Metropolis.
Yeah,
But we got to go back to season 3 of Superman the Animated Series because
okay.
was still airing at this time.
Yep.
You know, but the next episode is going to be in Brightest Day.
And Brett say, "Gee, who's gonna
Who
show
could that
up
going to
in
be that one?
Jesus Christ!
It will be no shock to you
Martian
that
Manhunter, is he gonna be showing up? No, good lord.
the funny thing is that when you look at the thumbnail on HBO Max, it's freaking Sinestro.
It's like right there. So that'll be a fun one. Back in Metropolis. That's cool. Yeah, as much fun as we're having talking about Batman Beyond, we still got to go in order, folks. So
We do, because we actually only have, doing the math here, we only have 9 more episodes of Superman.
There you go. So, all right, guys. So that's what we'll be talking about next week. We appreciate you, of course, spending some time with us right tonight.
Sorry, 7.
Oh,
7 episodes. We only have
7.
7 episodes left of Superman the Animated Series.
Love it. Well, there you go. So, yeah. So make sure you guys watch that. We'll be back here next week talking about that. I'll be in my new location next week too.
Ooh.
I don't know what's going to be behind me. I don't know what kind of stuff is going to be behind me.
As long as your real camera's working, you'll already be better off than I am right now.
Yeah, I'll definitely have all that going for me. But it's going to be it's going to be interesting because I'll be in my new location next Wednesday for sure. Because we're moving Monday, all the big stuff. So yeah, should be good times. So we'll see you then. And Scott, go ahead and plug away with anything you got.
I got nothing right now. I got nothing. So just once again, keep joining us here on Wednesday nights because it's really the only thing I've got going right now. I'm a sad human being.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm fine, but I probably though am gonna try to be posting at least on my X feed and Vero as well. I've gotten some fun goodies over the past couple of days, and I think I need to do some more little some showcases. Yeah. So I'll tease that if you've been paying attention to my feeds, you might know of some things you might have to look forward to. But yeah, let's just say that some things that were paid for like a couple of years ago have finally been coming in. So I'm looking forward to that.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to more of those videos for sure because I know you always send me that stuff where I see it. I'm like, yeah, nothing wrong with doing a video about that. But yeah, guys, hit that like, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Look forward to my first reaction, of course, to Captain America Brave New World tomorrow. It'll be late because I'm seeing a later showing, I should say. But yeah, look forward to that. And then, of course, the vodka stream on Friday where we'll be talking about all that. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week when we go back to Metropolis for what was that episode name again?
In Brightest Day.
Yeah, there you go. So we'll talk about that and have some fun with that. And we love you guys, and we will talk to you later.